Hey guys, this past week, Hyundai flew me out to Atlanta, Georgia to drive the whole N lineup. The Elantra N has really surprised me, but while I was there, I also had the chance to drive the fully electric Ioniq 5. Unfortunately, I lost my drive cam footage, or should I say, I was taking stills instead of actually pressing the record button. So user error, but definitely enjoy the driving impressions I was able to capture and enjoy also the sprinkling in of the footage and hands-on experience that I had with the vehicle in Miami last year. I'll leave it to Kirk in the past to take it away.
I'm in the all-new Ioniq 5 and putting this thing into drive is an experience. Do I twist it? You twist it for drive. So we're gonna take off and I'm gonna show you guys the all-new electric vehicle from Hyundai. It does have a sister vehicle, the Kia EV6. This vehicle has 320 horse and over 440 pound-feet of torque. It is outstanding in terms of power delivery. This is of course the top end spec with the huge wheels and the dual motor all-wheel drive. I am pretty hot, so I'm gonna see how well this climate control is. I know I need to drive out these gates, but the last thing I want to do is run into them. I think this is the gate I go through. Okay, slowly opening. I just love this interior. I sat in this vehicle in Miami late last year, and now I'm finally getting my chance to drive it. And I don't have a lot of experience driving electric cars, so you guys are gonna get all sorts of funny faces from me, that's for sure. We have a nice, well, I'm not on the brakes yet, but we have a nice controlled descent here with the regenerative braking. This has over 300 miles of range or thereabouts with this dual mode. Well, I should say it has less than that. If you go single motor, you have around 300 miles of range. I feel like I have so much visibility in here. I also have the heads-up display that I didn't adjust, so it's a little dual vision for me right now, but the heads-up display is absolutely massive. It's probably the biggest font heads-up display that I've seen. See how this handles around the turns. The steering is extremely light, very, very light, but it does feel planted. Being in a battery electric vehicle, the center of gravity is extremely low, even though this vehicle is heavy. All that weight is real down low at the bottom of the vehicle. I'm just gonna hammer it here. That is just the most absurd power delivery. Like I said, I've never driven an electric. I haven't driven that many electric cars. I've driven Teslas to an extent. I've driven some BMW electric cars. I've driven plug-in hybrids in full electric mode. But this is a whole different animal here. Definitely feels far more futuristic than any other electric car I've driven. The accelerator, I can't say it's a gas pedal, but the accelerator pedal has a lot of travel, and it does coincide very well and gives you more acceleration the further you push into it. It's not like a traditional car where you have to wait for the transmission to downshift and wait for the power to kick in. I'm just gonna hammer it. There's 60. That's plenty. It just does it. It feels more like a spaceship. That's the best way to, if you can imagine flying a spaceship. Effortless acceleration, instant response, and a quiet experience. I'm going to be very quiet here and see how this vehicle sounds when I'm just driving. I hear a little bit of ambient noise, but it's very pleasant. And honestly, most of the noise I'm hearing is coming from the AC that I turned up because I'm really hot. The jacket's not helping, but I'm going to hammer around this turn. I feel like I'm sitting up pretty high as well. I think I'm gonna turn here. The brake, oh, I'm not gonna, oh, should I turn here? I'm gonna try it out. Oh, it's gonna be too dirty. I'm not going this route. I probably should be looking at the coordinates on the map here, but I typically get lost even if I'm reading them. And then just kind of Google Maps my way back. But the 360 camera is good here. It's essentially the same quality as I've seen in any other new Hyundai product. I'm gonna twist it back in a drive. It rolls back a little bit, kind of like a normal car would. It doesn't instantly go into drive. It lets it roll back a little bit as it gently puts it back into drive. We also have this huge MID behind the steering wheel, and I don't have an electric adjust here. I do have tilting and telescoping. I probably should lock it back down before I get into the corner. My driver position is kind of bizarre. I'm sitting really high up. I would like to be sitting a little bit further down, and the steering wheel takes up some of my vision for the large 12-inch screen behind it. So it kind of cuts into the display because the display is so close to me. If it was a little bit further back, then I could see more of it. But I could probably, from my vision, it's only cutting out the top 5% of the display, but it's unfortunate that the steering wheel is doing that at all. So Hyundai, you could probably save a little bit of money and put a 10-inch screen behind here that fits into the vision of the steering wheel. Steering wheel though is very basic. We do have some haptic controls mixed with some actual buttons. The lane keep assist actually popped up on the heads-up display with an arrow to push me back in. That was pretty cool and high quality and right on time. Effortless. It's very peaceful in here. Probably one of the quietest cars I've been in, and it does have the large panoramic roof on this model. And typically when you have panoramic roofs and the more glass in the vehicle, the more the sound reverberates and gets trapped in here. But the insulation is really, really good. I'm gonna hit these markers in the road to see what it feels like and sounds like. It handles them really well, even with these massive wheels on this vehicle. I want to say they're 20s. And the interior is very minimal and wide open. I know this console moves around. I'm not going to do it while I'm driving. And the amount of rear leg space you have in this vehicle is immense. The wheelbase on this vehicle is even longer than what we see in the Palisade, as well as the Telluride 3-row SUV. So this vehicle has a very long and luxurious wheelbase to it, which gives you more interior space. You have short overhangs, so it makes the vehicle look on the outside smaller than what it is with the short overhangs, because when you get on the inside, it does have a ton of interior space and it feels very roomy and cozy in here. There's no one behind me, so I'm gonna get on the brakes hard. Oh, and I'm still a little motion sickness from the track driving earlier, and I'm just gonna hammer it downhill with this winding road. Oh, okay, so I pushed it to its limits there, and it is, you do feel a lot of body roll when it's pushed to its limits. It's nothing like what I just drove on the end products, and those probably unrealistically heightened my expectations for the car and the turns. So it's not a performance handling car, but it's a performance accelerating car, and it's a luxurious experience in here with the quiet, the vibrations, the quietness and the vibrations are very impressive for a non-luxury vehicle, and it makes me wonder what the Genesis version of this is going to be like. It's probably going to sound like you're in a vault, but I'm going to do a U-turn here and head back to the track. I'm going to take it much easier on the way back because my motion sickness is coming back in. Turning radius was really good there. We have a flat bottom steering wheel, which is typically associated with a little bit more sporty feeling and sporty design, but the interior in here is not like sporty at all. It's more of like a nice mid-century modern laid back experience. It's very, very pleasant. We have lots of USBs in here. I think we have 5 USB ports. One's powering the camera that's looking at me right now. Gonna turn the AC, well, that's the tuning button. Gonna turn the AC down. I'm really, really warm. That happens when I get motion sickness. And we have this beautiful Ford Taurus passing us in the picturesque countryside outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Here's that winding road that I pushed it down the hill and it did not like it very much. Effortless maintenance of speed up the hill, as you would expect with all this torque immediately available. So the car doesn't struggle uphill at all, especially with 300 plus horsepower and over 400 foot-pound or pound-feet of torque. The cows are enjoying the experience as a silent car rolls on by so they can peacefully graze on the fields. It's really pretty right now. The countryside in Georgia is really pretty, where I can see the mountains in the background, and the green pastures with these beautiful rolling hills is a beauty that I didn't know Georgia had just outside of Atlanta. So if you guys are in Atlanta, try to venture out if you haven't already, because your state's really pretty. Nice thing is I didn't even have to connect my phone. I just used the voice commands here, and it did give me coordinates back to the track. Also, playing with the paddle shifters adjust the regenerative braking. So right now I'm in I pedal, which is one pedal driving. So if I let off the pedal, it feels like I'm putting the brakes on pretty strongly, and it does bring the vehicle completely to a stop. That would take some practice for me to get used to. I'm actually going to put it on level 2 and see. Actually, I'm on level 1 right now. I'm going to let go of the pedal, and it coasts more like a normal car would, maybe in a manual transmission. Level 0 is more like coasting. It's going to drive more like a normal car. That might be better for most people out there that maybe aren't used to engine braking or used to maybe a manual transmission. But we have the other Ioniq driving past us, and we have a nice Kona in there as well, leaving the racetrack. So I'm actually enjoying the coasting nature of this, because I can just kind of relax my foot and let the car maintain its speed. So that's why they have different levels for different people and different driving habits. And you know, if I was in stop and go traffic, I would probably prefer to have the one pedal driving enabled. But it's interesting because as I was wanting to slow down there, I just easily, instead of hitting the brakes, I just adjusted the regenerative braking setting, and it slowed the car down pretty nicely there. But I'm going to put it back onto level 1. I feel like that's a happy medium with real mild engine braking. And I prefer that one the most. To me, it's the least nauseating at this point in time, because like I said, I'm still pretty car sick from track driving and pushing this vehicle for that split second around the turn, and me doing it again there. It's because why not? Anyways, guys, signing out from the Ioniq 5, the 320 horsepower all-wheel drive top-of-the-line model here. This thing's fast. It's very quiet. I love the open interior. The exterior design, I don't know if I'm sold on yet, but it's growing on me little by little. And anyways, signing out from the northern parts of Georgia here and the countryside, this beautiful countryside with a really cool futuristic car to serenely glide and not to disrupt nature. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to cut myself off. See you guys in the comments with your questions on the Ioniq 5, but with some butt time in here, I can definitely give you some additional points of experience about my drive with your questions. Anyways, I cut myself off before I throw up. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.